Question number 3, Brother Gipp, I want you to write this question down. What are the effects of TV on the church in the area of morals? So how has television affected the morals, not only of the country, but also of Christians? Again, what are the effects of TV on the church in the area of morals?
Now I told you I wouldn't mislead you, correct? You know, I was going to mislead you, and I'm not going to do it. I was going to get you to say something and then say you were wrong. But the Bible says, don't say amen too loud on this. The Bible says evil communications corrupt good manners, correct? And that's where I was going to get you to say yes to, and then I was going to show you that it's not quite that. Look at 1 Corinthians chapter 15. And as much as last night I kept skipping over part of a verse every time I was preaching, but it's the only way I could preach what I wanted. But look what it says in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33. It does say evil communications corrupt good manners. What's it say before that? Be not deceived. That's in the same verse. And I think those words, be not deceived, mean this. Don't think that, we all say evil communications corrupt good manners. But I can submit myself to evil communications and it won't corrupt my manners. But the verse said, be not deceived. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are going to, when this is done this afternoon and we have lunch or whatever, you're going to leave here, you're going to stop by a liquor store, pick up a fifth, pick up a porn magazine at the gas station, and, just generally do a bunch of wicked things. I don't believe anybody here is going to do that, right? Boy, there was no amens on that one. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Seagram's is good. I just want to let you, well, you say, but that's evil, and I am not going to subject myself to that evil, correct? How many are going to go home and turn on TV? You say, well, I don't think TV is as wicked as booze and pornography. That's fine. It's not. But if it's half as wicked and you submit yourself to that, then it's more danger to you than the fifth of whiskey that you never will buy. Right? And I'm going to tell you something, guys. This is one time when I really do wish that there was a major difference between America and Canada. You guys know when we go back to the States, when you've ever come down to the States, we know that there's a border between the United States and Canada, but it's an imaginary line. I don't think that all of the demons that inhabit my nation come north and they go, ooh, like the mid-air, oh, what happened? And the other one says, oh, we must be Canada. Did you bring your passport? No. Okay, well, let's go back to Minneapolis. And I'll tell you where, but you're going to submit yourself. You're going to submit, I said, yourself to your television set. And, one of the things I do contend is that the television has now become God. I don't mean that anybody worships their TV. No, sir. But don't we go to God for our morals? Well, our country is now getting their morals from a television set. And it's real bad. This is one of the simplest things they did. You know what they did? They show the 1890s movies. They make movies about the 1890s with 1990s morals. How many of you have seen some Western where the cowboy and the woman, they go off and they're immoral together? You think that's what it was like in 1870 and 80? Look, first off, if that guy would have tried something with her, she'd have hit him with a brick. Secondly, he wouldn't have tried something with her because both of them had higher moral standards. The loose women were walking the streets, okay? They were working down at the brothel. But guys, the television has portrayed our past, the past of your country, the past of mine, and yet they superimpose this new morality. And then you see that. You cannot see that and not have it affect you, okay? It's got to affect you. Did you ever notice this? I tell people I kind of like the old Westerns where it was the good guy got shot at the end and actually repented of being bad. Did I say the good guy got shot at the end? Yeah. Okay, it's Monday again, isn't it? Anyway, the bad guy got shot. But they had an old Western TV program when I was a kid called Gunsmoke. Nothing immoral. Never anything immoral. Oh, that's what you're waiting on. Yeah. Hang on. Probably turn this on. Okay, if you're tuning in just right now, we gave $1,000 to everybody that came to church today. You didn't come today, but you got the CD. Yeah, I was just giving, for you folks who just bought the CD, I was just giving the revelation of when the aliens stopped last night in my backyard, but I'm past that now, so we'll just go to the Bible. All right. In Gunsmoke, Matt Dillon was the cop, and he was like the father figure, correct? Does anybody know who the woman, the mother figure was? Miss Kitty, the prostitute. How many movies have you seen where a prostitute was always a loving, understanding lady? They're doing that to you. Why couldn't there have been a moral school teacher? See, I'm not going to say it had to be the wife of a preacher. That would have been a better one. And you can bet some of them old Western towns had a preacher and his wife was the moral. There's no prostitute. There's no streetwalker that was just the nice, motherly, understanding. And of course, the religious ladies are all got their nose in the air and everybody hated them because they were a bunch of self-righteous hypocrites. They program it. Guys, computers only do what they're programmed to do. They think what they're programmed to think. And you guys go and you turn on a program and it programs your thinking. And you say, but I know better. I know what's right. You know what's right, but you still submit yourself to the evil communications. And it's going to get in. You cannot have it keep coming in and in and in. And pretty soon you end up with the morals. You end up with the 50s. The 50s were not as immoral as they are when they're portrayed on television. You got it now where in my country, I think just about everybody thinks that in the 1950s, dads were committing incest with their families. You say, why? Because I saw it in the movie. You know that's really happening. What do you mean you know that's really happening? It was not happening. Oh yeah, I am sure you could find one isolated case, and if you checked out the history of that thing, you'd understand why. That was not the norm. Now they've made it the norm. And they have put ideas into the heads of families that ought not to be there. Your television is reprogramming your thinking. I told you guys before, I go to Australia and New Zealand. I know it's going to be hard to believe, but they're critical of the United States. They're nothing like Canadians. Anyway, and I said, look, I said, you want to say something bad about my country? How come you embrace the worst that we send you? How come you say America's so bad and run to watch our movies? How come you say that America's so terrible and then you got to watch every program? And you let them reprogram everything about it. And pretty soon, the morals are as bad as they are on television. And it says, be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners. Your television is nothing but evil communication. I believe it. I really do. I mean, I don't even think the weather reports are really good. You say, why? Because I believe this. You ever go, some of you maybe have this in your house. You got it's like a framework and it's got just a bunch of little openings and you got a little thimble there and a little ceramic something there. I mean, you get this little area. It's kind of like where women can pack more junk into each cubic inch. It's kind of like the equivalent of a man's garage hanging on a woman's wall. And you got this, you got this, and you got like 50 things in there. I think your brain, when I work with computers, it's called bytes, and you got only so many of those. Now look, first off, I can tell when I go outside if it's hot. I have this stuff called skin. You could put a blanket over me, and if the sun is behind a cloud, when the sun comes out from behind the cloud, without seeing it, I can tell. It's magic. I can tell when it's cold. But I really don't know. Do I need to know? They say this, well, today's high is going to be, I can't stand this, 12? What do you guys do with those kind of temperatures? 12. Man, it's hot today. It was almost 32. We freeze at 32. But then they say, here's today's high and here's today's low. Why did you need to know today's high and today's low? But that's not, does yours do this? Here was last year's high and low. Here's the record high and here's the record low. You know what you just did? All that, I mean, if you wanted to know what today's high and low was, that fills two. But now you filled a whole bunch of them with stuff you didn't need. And guys, and I'm going to tell you, watch out for that weatherman. He's trying to get my brain. He's probably the least of your threats. Okay? What I'm telling you guys is that don't think, we're talking about this vertigo. Don't think that because you know the truth that you are somehow shielded, that you are somehow inoculated from this. Because your morals are not good morals. And your morals are not good because you're getting them from there. In fact, you get to the point where, they preach this, preach about this, and preach about, whoa, they're preaching stuff that's going to help you. You'll be watching that stuff, and they'll, as far as your morals, I call it misguided compassion. I change the station when the commercial comes on. Do you have them up here? It shows a dog. How do they make a dog look so sad? This dog's been abused. And then they find another, a cat. Man, listen. Well, we'll move on from there. Usually the guy holding the cat smiling big time. My cat's been abused. I stayed in this room one time. We had to stay with these people. And we're having dinner, and this lady says, Dr. Gipp, my cat stays in that room. I hope you don't mind. We're going to be there for 7 days. I said, no, ma'am. I said, I don't. I said, my shoe fell on your cat from across the room. I hope you don't mind. I regret that to this day. I regret saying that. You know why? She took the cat. I thought, I got 7 days to find out if a cat can have a nervous breakdown. For 7 days, this was going to be my cat. It was going to be wonderful. I missed an opportunity. But you watch, oh, look. And then you know what you find? Oh, I feel so bad about the animals. Let me tell you something. Now, this is the truth. You can have properly placed compassion or misplaced compassion. But you cannot have both. You cannot have both. You cannot have compassion on a brother that has had a problem and then worry about all the animals. You sit there, I get so tired of seeing this guy dying of AIDS with his sores all over him and his little teddy bear, and you're going, oh, but it's so sad. It's kind of like the alcoholic that works so hard to catch his disease. Why are you putting compassion where you should not have it? I am telling you guys, there's going to be some times when you have to look at some situation and go, I am going to withdraw my emotion from this. Well, that's awful cold. Yep. Because if you don't withdraw it there, you'll withdraw it here. You'll withdraw it on that mission field because they've redone your morals. You can't, you get this, well, if I care about animals, I really show how much I love God because animals are God's creation. I saw this in Australia. It was a 3 phrases, and they didn't believe it anyway, but they said, God made nature. If I serve nature, I serve God. But that's where it goes, isn't it? And so, well, I'm helping God. God made the doggy, and the doggy's been abused, and when I'm kind to the doggy. Do you know why people have become environmentalists? Because they're as immoral as animals, and they want to feel righteous about something. And the more immoral you get, the more vile you get, the more despicable you get, the more outrageous you'll get with your compassion. And you'll have compassion because you say, see, I think I've said it before. I call it conviction poker. Don't answer that. Anyway, here's how poker goes. You're playing somebody, and the guy says, well, I'll bet you $5. And you say, well, I'll see your $5. I'm meeting your bet, and I'll raise you. You're going to throw in 5? I'm going to throw in 10. I'm above you. And so you go, well, I care about souls. Well, I even care about animals. Of course I care about souls, but I care even higher than that about animals. But you don't care about souls. Because you can't. Because you cannot displace, you cannot misplace, you cannot misguide. Look, a missile or a bullet that misses its target it's missed its target. It cannot now be directed and hit a target, right? And so guys, you sit down and you ought to be ashamed of some of the stuff you cry about. I can't get over people crying. Watching a movie and watching a guy die for the 85th time. And watching that, you know what it tells me? They make you cry anytime they want. They make you cry. They make you laugh. Wait, could I ask you a question? Does God have the power to make you cry right now if he wanted you to? Does he have the power to make you laugh right now if he wants you to? So what has your TV become? It has become your moral arbiter. I am telling you, that's exactly what it is. And so you watch that. You cannot subject yourself that over and over. You cannot subject yourself. And you're going to start getting those morals. And it is, our airwaves in the States are, I say it this way, they are sexually saturated. I'll tell you how bad it is. Before we had motorhomes, we never had TVs. We never had raised our boys without TVs. We'd order a new trailer, don't put the TV in, we didn't bother. But they're part of it. Now, our motorhome, like the one we have now, it has one in the living room, which is also the kitchen and dining room, and it had one in our bedroom. And I took that one out and I put in my printer. It's a good place for my printer. We never have one back there, just didn't want to have it. But it's like this big open hole if you take it out. But we're not TV watchers, okay? It's just not something something that we do. But guys, you go to that TV. And you sit down and you watch it and you put your brain in neutral. And it's gotten to the point where even though I don't watch much TV, I'm sitting in a restaurant and I see two guys walk in and have lunch together. And I start thinking, are they romantic? Now, why am I thinking that? They were just two businessmen. But because television has so permeated our society, and it's so, and brother, that's all everything is about. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when the next hero that carries the day and beats the bad guy and then rides off into the sunset with his boyfriend? What are you going to do? You're going to have to make a decision about your television set. You really are. And I'll tell you what you're going to decide. You're gonna somehow justify, keep on watching the stuff. I'm telling you the truth. And in that, they have hurt your morals. Because you've exalted yourself above God. Because you've said, I know what God thinks of this, but I really enjoy this. Take a look at something in Romans chapter 1. There's a scary thing in Romans chapter 1. Look what it says in verse 29, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Boy, kids, ain't that amazing that one's in there? Be careful. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful. You say, well, I don't want to be any of that. Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So I'm not doing that. Yeah, but you're enjoying the people that do it. And you will have to alter your morals. You have to. And that TV is just not your friend. Thank you.